Now, I for one love elders in The Sims 4 more than anything because they don't really get a lot of love, and so I thought, why not build a grandparents' house with the brand new Adventure Awaits expansion pack and see what we can possibly do. But before we get started, I do want to say thank you to EA for giving me an early access copy to The Sims 4 Adventure Awaits expansion pack. So when I tell you I love elders in The Sims 4, I literally love them more than anything because when Adventure Awaits was announced a couple weeks ago and I got my hands on early access, I knew I needed to build immediately for two grandparents who have a child and grandchildren in Gibby Point because I love elders. They have so many intricate ways to like experience life, new jobs. They're very wise, very knowledgeable, have a lot of experience, and can basically do literally anything the teens, young adults, adults can do. And now that kids are more involved at its core with Adventure Awaits, it makes them more exciting because the way I see it, elders can be camp counselors, they can be gym instructors, they can go travel the world without ease, with a limited budget. They have so many opportunities. And so I made two elders with my intention of playing with elders in this particular save, and I called them Sharon and Stuart Oates. Sharon and Stuart Oates were born and raised and still live in Willow Creek. They have a child named Maxwell Oates who lives in Gibby Point with his two kids, Trinity and also Alberto Oates. And with Trinity and Alberto, they're twins. They were born and raised in Gibby Point. They went to camp in Gibby Point. They met all of their friends in Gibby Point. And Maxwell was actually born and raised in Willow Creek. The only way he actually got to Gibby Point is because he went to camp in Gibby Point, met his friends, met other family members in Gibby Point, and realized that Gibby Point was the place to be, the home away from home, where his kids and hopefully soon enough his extra grandkids could experience life the way he lived it. He never really got a chance to actually have an imaginary friend, but when his kids were born, he bought two little dolls that I think he would have loved to have as a child so his kids can have those things. And I think one of the best things about Adventure Weights that I really love is that with the playground equipment, the jungle gym stuff really simulates McDonald's Playhouse. And I just remember my child self loved going to McDonald's and going to the play place and having the best of time, whether it was indoors or outdoors. I always had the best time there. And the way that I see it is that I want to really make the childlike experience more fun for me at the end of the day. And so with Adventure Awaits, I've dabbled a lot into Camp Gibby Gibby. I've done a little bit of the stuff with the career and also with all the playground equipment, butterfly catching, butterfly raising. And I still could not find that gigantic plum bird anywhere. They were nowhere to be found, but I simply heard about them while doing my gameplay, but I haven't found them yet. And so I think it'd be really fun to dabble into all of gameplay in a short little mini series of understanding Adventure Awaits solely by itself and kind of giving you my thorough review of what I think of what I love and what I don't love and what I think could have improved on this pack. And I think ultimately at the end of the day with this particular house and this particular save that I'm playing is that with the two elders, I've learned that they have a lot of new ways that they can experience like their formative moments. And when you solely make an actual elder or an adult, they don't already have preset formative moments, but they can learn or relearn their formative moments through an interaction. And I think that's so much fun. And so when I was building this house, I wanted to make it very well lived in and very well alive. And since the idea that Sharon and Stuart Oates were literally born and raised in Willow Creek, they weren't raised in this house. They were born on the other side of Willow Creek. But when they decided to start a family, live their best lives, they just settled on this 30 by 20 house, a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And it made sense for at the time when they had Maxwell. And Maxwell, he was born and raised, like I said, in Willow Creek. He made a lot of different friends, the BFF household. He knew Olivia, Kim Lewis, Eric Lewis, all the people. And they loved canoeing. They loved going swimming. He's a very experienced swimmer. And I can't fully remember exactly what Maxwell's career is, but he has a lot of skills. He loves cooking. He loves baking. He loves exercise. And I think what I want to experience with Maxwell, at least with his career, is probably have him join the camp counselor career or the camp worker, park worker career. Because with that, it comes with two different job branches. And you can be a camp counselor or that other branch that I cannot fully remember. But I think what Maxwell missed the most is going to camp. He loved archery. He's very knowledgeable in archery, has a very good skill in it, nearly almost maxed it out. But I was like, I don't want to max it out just yet until I do a lot of more gameplay with it. But he loves archery, loves swimming, loves fitness. He goes to those spin classes every once in a while when it's available. He does archery classes. He goes to the festivals. He teaches other people about archery. And with this, he actually went to archery school, or more so an archery retreat getaway. And he's built up his confidence of understanding the true meaning of like handling your bow and arrow in a responsible way. And so with Sharon and Stewart, they gave Maxwell everything he possibly wanted. If he wanted to go canoeing, he can go canoeing. If he wanted to do archery, he did archery. Because kids actually have the opportunity to do archery as a childlike skill. And if you don't know this, children can actually build adult skills as a child. They'll build child skills and adult skills at the same time, but adult skills are at a slower rate. But I will say, I'm actually really happy that kids are involved in archery. They can practice their bow and arrow archery skills by shooting an arrow off of somebody's head. And I think that's really cool because not only with kids having new skills, they can do diving, they can do archery, they can do butterfly catching. The collection itself is really cool. I think my favorite part for like kids is that they are able to understand the emtology skill. But I think what's very cool about kids in The Sims 4 with Adventure Awaits is that they have the emtology skill and they're able to actually understand the lives of insects, understand them more, raise butterflies from being a caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly, and then understanding the true meaning of what they actually are. But there's one particular object in build and buy mode that you also get through gameplay is this gigantic, like, not cocoon, but this gigantic box thing that you can store all of your butterflies that you've studied, collected, raised in there, and you can see them like float around and have a lot of like really cool moments with it. And what I've been doing as of lately, I take a lot of pictures with my Sims. The amount of photos that I have of my Sim kids is too many already in Adventure Awaits. The moment I snagged that early access from EA, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm really liking the idea of it. And I'm here for it. And since technically Maxwell no longer lives in Willow Creek anymore and no longer has his childhood bedroom, Sharon and Stuart Oates thought it'd be a good idea to host getaways, little vacations with their grandkids every once in a while here in Willow Creek. And so they transform Maxwell's childhood bedroom into their grandkids' bedroom. So there's a new bunk bed that is added to Adventure Awaits, which I think is so nice. It makes it more camp-like, and when Camp Gibby Gibby, if you go to Gibby Point, there is a little camp made by Griffey, and there's like different cabins that you can go to, and they all have bunk beds. And I love the fact that there is a new activity table, but it's more so like a desk with an activity mat that you can like do different things on and take wherever you want. And I don't feel restricted, which is what I love. And so the idea is that the idea that I had for this build is that Sharon and Stuart would host getaways. And of course they would earn money throughout their stay. But the way I see it is that the grandkids are like here for a couple of days, like every Wednesday, once a week, they're here, staying at their grandparents' house. And the money that they earn, Sharon and Stuart Oates earn the money through Maxwell, goes to the grandparents or grandkids college fund. And so when Alberto and Trinity grow up and they eventually, understand what they want to do as a teenager or a young adult and want to go to college, they have money set aside. And so most of the stuff is actually heirloom eligible that we got around with the system of life and death. And I think what I love so much about it is that there's so many like knickknacks and like really cool trinkets that you can pass down to all these different people. And with growing together specifically is the keepsake boxes. Those keepsake boxes are like so cute because you can add literally anything you want in them and then make that keepsake box heirloom eligible. So you can pass down that box to whoever you want. The imaginary friends are also heirloom eligible. And the way that I see it, since Maxwell never really had the opportunity to have an imaginary friend, his kids have imaginary friends. And so eventually one day down the line, we can pass down those imaginary friends to whoever we want. And I think that'll be very, very cute. And the one last addition that Stewart actually did himself with his two bare hands is that he decided that my grandkids are gonna come over. They're like 9 years old. They don't have a lot of things in Gibby Point. They do, but they also don't. But he wants to make his house kid friendly for his grandkids and the neighborhood kids as well. And so he built their very own like jungle gym. And with the new playground equipment that comes with Adventure Awaits, I was like so happy. There's different types of pieces to the playground equipment. It's all modular, so it all like snaps together based on what height you have the platform at. And I chose like this very smallest one because I felt if it was too tall, it would look kind of crazy. So I went very something simple, very easy with the nice little staircase and the two little things on the side, that little round bubble thing and the little spinny block stuff on the side. But I'm really happy on how this house turned out, just not only because it's a small house, it only uses Adventure Awaits, and it's a 30 by 20, and it's for grandparents and their grandkids, and there's a story involved. It just makes me so stinking happy that we finally have another family pack where kids at its core are involved, and it just makes it so much better. But what I want to do is go into the game and show you all the build in real time, so that way you can kind of get an idea of what I was doing. Plus, I want to share more of my excitement about the Oates family and their house and the family tree and all that fun jazz. But let's go ahead and go into the game. So I just realized that this lot size is not a 30 by 20, it's a 20 by 15, but regardless, it is still a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, no basement, all one floor, and it's nice and dandy. It's on the Crick Cabana lot in Willow Creek in Foundry Cove. If you know, you know. But overall, this house was made for two grandparents, Sharon and Stuart Oates. They have a kid named Maxwell, grandkids named Alberto and Trinity. And I wanted to make this house generational, essentially, where it has a lot of clutter, a lot of really good moments, and a lot of really just things to remember your childhood. And this is actually Sharon Oates. She's over here. She looks very lovely and cute. She's actually wearing the brand new hair and also the brand new outfit that we got with Adventure Awaits. The cast is really nice, and I've done so I actually was wrong on the lot size. It's a 20 by 15 and not a 30 by 20, but it still is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Willow Creek in Foundry Cove on the Crick Cabana lot size. If you know Foundry Cove, then you know where this house is located. But essentially, I wanted to make this house very generational, so there's a lot of clutter, a lot of really good formative moments, childhood moments, so that way there's something for everyone. And since Sharon and Stuart Oates lived here and were raised here, it kind of made sense to tap into like their childhood into this home. And I just really like how it was designed. And one thing I love about Build and Buy is the roof texture. This roof texture is brand new that comes with Adventure Awaits, but what threw me off was the fact that when I placed it onto the roof, it went onto the other side. And this actually is like a brand new thing. It's not for all it's not for all roof textures. It's just for this one. And normally, usually when you look up above on a roof, it's usually white. So I kind of like the fact that it's on both sides and like just not on one, but it's still there. It's still nice. But I like the general like Build and Buy. It's very cohesive. I feel like I can match a lot of things with it with existing packs. So I feel like I'm just like not building a house for this style and it doesn't work for anything else, but it feels like it's cohesive across the board. But I wanted to make a house that fit Willow Creek, but also fit their own style of like how they want to live for the long haul, especially since they own this house in Willow Creek. But regardless, I added in 2 bikes for Sharon and Stuart so they can ride around the neighborhood if they want to. If not, they can also walk with their 2 little legs. I also included down over here 2 planter boxes so that way they can plant some like produce as they want to, if they need any ingredients for any recipes. Some seating on their porch, and I literally thought in the beginning of this build I wanted to make a screened in porch, but I realized I only had base game and Adventure Awaits. The new windows are very nice, but I wanted like a long one like the ones that we got with the Greenhouse Haven kit. I love those windows more than anything, and the moment I get my hands on like the other early access with all of my packs installed, I'm literally gonna make a screened in porch with Adventure Awaits objects. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be a dream. But I wanted to include 2 seating right here and also their kayak buoys over here or paddles on the wall. So that way if they wanted to grab it, they could. but it's mostly just pure decoration. But I like the decor that comes with this pack. I love this door. I like that there's a window on the side so you can kind of peep out before you like walk out. But I like the style of the door and the windows. I didn't really know what kind of like windows I wanted to use, so I kind of mixed and matched the windows on this side using the base game windows and then the Adventure Awaits window. And I feel like it works very well together. I mean, I know this is blue and like this is more of a green, but it works very well where it doesn't like clash too much. So these are the windows that I chose on this little bump out over here, but the rest of the house has the Adventure Awaits windows, the small ones, and also the ones with the little things on the side. But over here is the side yard. The house was already too big and the lot was already too small, so a backyard didn't make any sense, but I thought a side yard made a lot of more sense. I added in the jungle gym equipment that we got with Adventure Awaits. Your Sims can actually go onto here and like walk up here if they want to. So I'm gonna have Mr. Steward go up here. He can walk up here. He can't play with like the round bubble stuff or the blocks, but they can lean over if they would like to. But I like that elders can like walk on these things and like look and like hang out if they want to. It's still nice. It's still something that they can do rather than just like looking at the stuff. But the fact that we have this right here is really cool. And one thing I wanted to point out through like gameplay options, when you're making like a teenager or adult, young adult, elder, or whatever, they don't really have any formative moments. And so you can click on your sim and recall a lost formative moment, and they can reflect on their childhood and gain any trait that is available from completing a formative moments challenge. And I like that that is available for like the other life stages. When I tell you this pack is the best pack ever, it literally is, because everyone has something. Kids through elders have something to do. They're not just there as objects, there's something for everyone. But I just really love how elders are just so cute and adorable and wise and knowledgeable. But overall, we have the playground equipment, we have some seating over here. I also added in some grills and also the kayaks. Normally I was gonna put them on the wall as like hanging decoration. And I know normally your Sims can actually take this stuff and put it into their inventory. So when they snag it, it just goes away. But I thought putting it outside on its side made a lot of sense. And you can customize it with like stickers if you want to, which I think is really cool. Just add like that nice little decoration. You can also name your kayak whatever you want. And you can also put in your inventory or set it as your favorite water vehicle, which I'm pretty sure there's only one water vehicle per se, but I still think it's very nice that we do have these type of capabilities to do this stuff. Plus, kayaking is a brand new skill that comes with Adventure Awaits, so there's new stuff for your Sims to kind of have fun with. But as we make our way to the inside, it is the home of the home. It feels very like open and free, so your Sims can like walk to the kitchen, walk to the living room, the small dining room, the little mini hallway, bedroom, bathroom, extra bedroom, and extra bathroom. But over here is their living room, and I wanted to include everything that I could think of. And I didn't want to make it too cluttered or too crazy, but cluttered with the purpose where I'm placing things, it made sense and it was very intentional. So having like this fan on the floor was intentional. The new retro gaming console is also new. The bookcases on the end table, the plants, all of this decor over here, the posters, and even all of the postcards that we have from base game. I normally don't do the postcard collection that often because I kind of forget about it, but I think it's also nice if your Sims are traveling so much, they can grab postcards via the computer, find a pen pal, they'll send one back. It's just like a nice little gesture for like generational type gameplay. So I added it over here down below on the half wall. And then over here is their dining room. They have their little shoe rack over here, security cameras so they don't get robbed. And then I did add in the imaginary friend. Now, since elders don't really have the option to like keep an imaginary friend, mostly only kids can have an imaginary friend. Teenagers can like turn them real when they officially age up, but they're just here existing in the corner, and it's kind of creepy, but it's cute at the same time. Trust me, they're cute and also creepy. Cece Babcock from The Nanny. But I think it's just very nice that we have imaginary friends, even though they are slightly unsettling to look at the nighttime. But over here we have their dressers, so they can change their clothes if they want to. I added in a mirror, a little child violin, And then over here is like their kitchen. And since Sharon and Stuart are like living alone most of the time, they didn't really need a big kitchen to begin with. Plus, when Maxwell was like raised here, they didn't need a big kitchen regardless. It was only 3 Sims at the time. So their kitchen is very small, very standard, but I did add in the new blender that we got with the new expansion pack. You can blend smoothies of different types like Eagle Eye, Purge Sequence, Vitamin, Focus Smoothie. The list goes on and on, but I think it's really cool that we do have a new system for blenders and new recipes. And then over here is like their stove and sink. And then in here is their hallway. And then this is Sharon and Stuart's bedroom. It was gonna be way too big for 2 Sims, and like last minute, I was like, let me add in an extra bathroom just because if they share a bathroom, it's not gonna work very well for like multiple Sims living here, especially the grandkids who are 2 of them. So their bedroom's like small but also big, but they have their double bed over here, and then they also have their archery that they have achieved over time. And this actually is Maxwell's archery, you know, bow and arrow that he's had as a child. And then of course their shelf. They are going to eventually raise a caterpillar one of these days. They can start raising caterpillars, but they need a good entomology skill to get the other varieties of caterpillars. So for now, they can only do unknown since they don't know entomology just yet. But I think it's very cool that you can raise them from caterpillars to butterflies and then release them. And then of course I added in the new stationary bike that we got from Adventure Awaits, and it's stationary, so it never moves. There's 2 of them. You have the standard one and then the instructor stationary bike. So if you wanted to hold classes, you basically could. But I like that I have this little corner over here. This is their bathroom that they use. And then this is actually Maxwell's old childhood bedroom turned into the grandkids' bedroom instead. So when Trinity and Alberto come over, they sleep in here, either on top or at the bottom. I did include the new activity mat, and kids can actually make paper mache or origami if they want to, and like cootie catchers. Like, it's the coolest thing that they can like make those things. Butterflies, paper airplanes, paper mache. And it's like, it's adorable. It's really, really adorable. And I just love the new wallpaper and the art prints. And of course, I added in 2 of these caterpillar, you know, little things here. So if Alberto and Trinity wanted to raise some caterpillars, they could. And they have 2 of them. So they can do all that there. And of course, I added in a dresser so they can change their clothes. And then we have another bathroom right here. A nice little tub, sink, and toilet. And this sink right here is actually new with Adventure Awaits. There aren't any new like kitchen related appliances besides the new blender, but I think overall as a whole for the whole house, I like how it turned out. I really do like the build and buy. There really isn't a lot of build and buy because there's a lot of gameplay features, but for what it brings, I'm actually pretty pleased with build and buy. And so I'm hoping to explore different parts of build and buy and how I can make it better for myself when I build. But at the moment, this pack is a literal 10 out of 10 for me, and that is something I never do. I never give packs 10 out of 10s, but when I do, you know I'm going to like it. But as always, I do hope you all enjoyed today's build as much as I did. Let me know down in the comments below, as always, of what you thought of this build, the story, and what are you going to do with Adventure Awaits when you get your hands on it. But as always, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a video, and I will see you all next time. Bye!